Hey everybody, it's Jared here with Big Pine Sports. I'm out in the shop with Kevin. He's got one of those tech tips here for you. So we get asked this often on a lot of the YouTube videos on how in the world does the Ryco Street Legal Kit tie into the stock gauge cluster. Kevin's going to show us how it's done right now. So far you've basically got the gauge disconnected.
Yep. To disconnect that, you've just got this little red lock tab. You pull that all the way back and then push down on this right here to go ahead and pull it off the back of the gauge.
Okay.
Okay, when you're at this point, I pull the wire loom back, I pull the electrical tape off, I also clip off a zip tie just so it gives me a little more working room with it. And then on the back of this connector, there's just this little black lock piece on the back that it just pries off. I slide that back out of the way.
Let's see a look at your tool there. Little flat blade screwdriver could probably do it, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, then on the front, we have to pull this piece off. Helps to have two of them. You run one down each side because there's two little lock tabs on each side that you have to pry that away from.
Okay.
Take another little screwdriver just in that slot. And then it just pops off the front. What this does is it keeps all your pins in alignment.
Okay.
Okay, now on these Can-Ams, this is the wiring harness that we're going to be installing. And we're going to be putting these pins in through the back. All of these Can-Ams are the same thing. So all of these harnesses are going to be the same.
So whether they've got an X3, a Defender, a Commander, a Maverick Sport,
Yep.
a Trail, they're all exactly the same.
Yep. Okay, in the back, in the unused pin locations, you've just got these little white pins in here. So counting over from the lock tab side of this, we're counting over 7 pin locations. One thing that is necessary to do, unless you want to go fuse hunting, is you need to disconnect the battery. Because so a couple of those pins are actually wired live to constant power, and if those touch, it blows a 10-amp fuse in your fuse box. So we disconnect the battery so that doesn't happen. Okay, so you take your little tool here, and we're counting over 7 pin locations from the lock tab side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got this empty pin location. So just get in there and release this little guy. Pull that out, you just throw it away. And then from the opposite side, it's 7 pin locations again. And then your red wire goes through the red lock tab side, and they're directional, so you want the thicker side towards the outside of the housing. And then I feed it up through the back of this plate, and then feed it through that 7th hole through this little gasket here, and it just slides up in place just like that. And then your green one does the same thing. it feeds in through the back of this lock plate, and then same thing right through this little grommet. Then once I have those in place, I just slide this back in, lock it in place, and then line these pins back up a little bit. And then this other plate that holds them in position, just snap it back in place. I run some electrical tape down here to keep the wires all bundled. Put the wire loom back on, and then just connect it into the back of the display.
Perfect.
That's as easy as it is, and they're all the same.
There you guys have it. Appreciate you, Kevin, for all that you do. Makes it sure easy for all of you guys chiming in. If you do have any questions, be sure to post those up in the comments below. We'll monitor this page daily. 435-427-3338. You can check us out on the web at bigpinesports.com. Thanks, Kevin.
You bet. See you next time.